Hello. Wow. Very
Yeah,
different light. Like
yes, very
kind of
much so.
dawn.
I'm actually glamping, so I'm in a tent and they don't have much light in a tent. And I wanted to show Uluru behind me, which if I get out of the way, you can sort of see.
Yeah,
Oh, goodness. It's
it's under
amazing.
the clouds.
Hmm.
Well, talking about time. So one thing that I noticed every time I go to Lugar is that time just ceases to exist. It's like I have infinite amount of time. The Earth really doesn't have a watch. And I wanted to really start.
Doesn't have a
Are you
watch.
are you seeing
Uh,
the Earth with a watch around?
and I was also
It?
thinking the Earth is like, oh my God, look at all these cracks and crevices. I mean, I'm 4.5 billion. Dear God. I mean, look at Oh, that's so good.
Well,
The-
I wanted to ask you about time because you're by this amazing Uluru that's like 550 million years old. So what is that like? How does that change your sense of time?
Yeah, in a way that you can't actually even put into words.
Mm,
I was I want to thank you for your brilliant idea of doing this. Um, because I mean, and sunrise here, dawn here, and sunset there. It's like, and both of these places are so beyond words. And it's interesting that you're bringing up the time thing, um, because it's exactly that. The Earth doesn't function from time. It functions from the space of being, and there is no rush. There's no,
mm,
it's, and I've had a difficult time time, a difficult time putting things into words because it's so beyond words, and words aren't necessary. It's like, if anything, it's almost like they get in the way
mm,
more than convey. Anybody watching, it's like just it's sort of like go with the vibe that's present, that's showing up, which
Well,
is
it's really what you mentioned too. It's like that space of being. Because when you were saying that, I realized like one of the things that I notice here is like I seem to have infinite time when I'm, for example, creating. Time just is in abundance. There's no like, oh,
yeah,
I don't have time to do this. And I just realized that that is the space of being.
yeah, that. And
Just like,
it's so spacious and peaceful.
yeah, yeah. And so nurturing
Without-
for the body when
Mm,
you're in it.
hmm.
And and that's another thing. So it's been raining a lot here because it is in the middle of the rainforest, right? And I learned the other day that all all the water on the earth has been here since the beginning. There's never new
Hmm.
water. It just like circulates, like it evaporates and it rains down. And since we're 80% water, that means that we're ancient. 80% of us is like
Mm,
ancient. So I wanted to see what is like, how do you see this with like earth within us within the earth? Like, how much are we actually the earth?
that we are, I mean, everything that makes up our bodies is part of the earth, it's always
Yeah.
been here. Like you said, it just gets recycled. It's like that scene in Avatar where it's like, it's not our energy, we're just borrowing it and to be
Mm.
returned to the earth, at least body wise. Being wise, it's an interesting thing because when we have the most peace, it's when our being and body are in sync. And notice Uluru is coming out of the clouds as we talk. I love it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm blurry, but you can see Uluru, so I don't care. Um, much rather have Uluru being seeable. Um, but when we and our bodies are vibrating alike, it's like, like when I said at the beginning, just go
Mm,
with this vibration
yeah.
and be with that, because um, there's so much that can be received that way. In fact, that's what everything is. Everything is actually energy and therefore is vibration.
Mm,
And when our being and body are vibrating in a similar space, when our body's invited, like it is at El Lugar, like it is at Uluru, to be that vibration that is also in sync with the earth,
yeah.
it feels like coming home, you know?
Yes.
And what's also interesting about it is how irrelevant it makes all the stupid shit that was never actually relevant.
Mm,
Like you can have it as the irrelevance it actually is. And one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is to acknowledge when something is not relevant and don't try to make it relevant when it's not.
it's that I'm noticing that I'm starting to like rock with the
Yeah,
vibration of the
yeah,
live. And when I've been here several times and I have that sense that you're describing, like it's coming home every time I come here. And it takes me a few days. It's like it takes me a few days where it before I start receiving the earth, maybe, or me, or whatever
all of
that
it. Well, it takes a while to allow that to be your vibration, basically.
is.
And I have not used the word vibration like this before, so it's interesting, but it's a simple way of describing it. I don't talk about vibration because people make it significant or they think it's woo-woo or whatever, but um, any scientist will tell you everything vibrates. There you go, vibration.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's like our body harmonizes to it, but it takes us a while for us to allow ourselves to let go of everything that's not truly relevant.
Right.
And rather than having it in the forefront of not only our mental space, but our physical energy,
Mm,
we allow, like see, and here's one of the most beautiful things about the universe is what's true will eventually always win if you allow it to.
that's very relaxing,
Yeah.
actually.
And
Yeah.
that's actually when we get to relax, because when you're functioning from what's not true, there's no relaxation ever. That's what is going on with almost everybody in the world. Most of what they are valuing, most of what they are putting their energy on, most of what they are worrying about is, and well, everything they're worrying about is everything that's not actually true for them and for us as people. And you get to a place like El Lugar or Uluru,
Mm,
and all of that is so non-relevant, and you can actually perceive it as the non-relevance it actually is. It's
yeah.
really tough to have a money problem at El Lugar.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really tough to care more about the person that judged you online than you do about being alive when you're at El Lugar or Uluru.
Yeah.
And
And
for
there is this.
me, these
No, go.
places, they do something that is so far beyond cognitive that we will reject them until we are in its physical presence.
Mm,
And once you're in its physical presence, you can't avoid what you've been avoiding anymore. And, people ask me all the time because they know I travel all around the world, and they ask me, "Do you have a favorite place?" Yeah, El Lugar and Uluru.
mm,
And
mm,
Uluru for me is gifting me something that I didn't even know I didn't have. And
yeah.
it's glorious, and it's just beginning. I just got here yesterday. And of course I want it all now, but that's it's also showing me that that doesn't have to be that way.
Well, you know what you were saying about the non-cognitive. So one of my favorite things here is it's not just during the day. It's I go
Hmm.
to sleep with the screens open. So I'm in, if we call it vibration, all right, I'm in this vibration, all the sounds from the rainforest, all the birds, all the cicadas, all the monkeys at night, like they're in, it's like you're there 24/7 in this
Yeah,
vibration with the earth, and it changes everything.
yeah. It exactly that. It allows everything to vibrate as it actually is.
Mm,
The only time we create discordant difficulty is when we're vibrating from what isn't and trying to make that more relevant, more real, more true.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the universe, as Laura typed in the
Mm,
comments. But
yeah.
that's our, we've been talking about this thing of psychic abilities with the universe as a way of distinguishing between what we have been doing with our psychic abilities with the world and blah blah words again, but we've so entrained ourselves to place such significance on thoughts, feelings, emotions, doubt, fear,
Mm,
separation, poverty, lack, and that's not our natural state. And all of consciousness is about getting to be what actually is for all of us.
yeah. And this live is called Earth Whispering. And I guess
Mm,
we're already doing that. And I just wanted to ask you, like, how does the earth whisper to you? Like,
mm,
what form does it take? How does it work? What
mm.
is it just?
Wow. Well, if you could imagine, so imagine hearing a literal whisper
Mhm.
that upon hearing it gives you peace in your whole body. And that peace being so present and prevalent that it radiates throughout your life. And now get the sense of having that, but the volume, instead of being something you hear, it is no longer about the hearing with ears, but the sense of the volume not being what delivers the vibration, but the vibration of peace itself delivers the vibration and is it's like that for me. And um this is a new, if you're watching this, you've probably maybe seen things I've done before and maybe things Katarina's done before, and you might notice a different
Mm,
something that
mm,
just is. And this is the beauty of it is, should we choose, your mission, should you choose to accept it, should we choose to be this, then our being of it makes us like broadcasters of this
wow.
whispering of the earth. And any of us that, so it's no longer that we have to be in a special place or be in a special place, like literally physically, or a special place in our heads or our minds, or have a special thing with the earth itself in a particular area. It's where we get to be the vibration of it with and for all of
Mm.
us.
It reminds me of many years ago, after an intensive class that we've done, you went out and you had what you called like a conversation with a tree.
Mm,
I think it actually was in Costa Rica. And you
mm,
talked about how the tendrils of the tree reached
mm.
out and how we're also, do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I was actually in Milan.
Ah,
And I had worked on this lady in class, this 60 some year old stout Italian woman had who had fourth stage cancer. And you know, there's so many times where somebody will, people in class or somebody coming to me for a session will want a miracle, heal the cancer, whatever. Um, and it was so far beyond that. And what it was showing this woman the beauty of being alive and a level of caring and a level of honoring her being and nurturing her body simultaneously. Exactly what we're talking about.
Mm,
That was so beautiful. You could feel at one point this stout, like, like very strong,
mm,
beautiful woman melt. And there's no describing that. I mean, and everybody in the room, it was like, and I was like this, I couldn't talk anymore. There was no talking to be done. It would have just so diminished what we had just experienced as a result of all of us, and her and I included. And so I ended class and I walked, my hotel happened to be across the street, and there happened to be this little park that I walked through to get to the hotel. And as I'm walking, as I'm walking through this park, I noticed this different something, this different vibration. And they had these beautiful tall trees, and I just stood in awe and wonder as I'm looking up and down, and I notice that this tree has these tendrils of energy with the earth. And I was like, whoa. And then I noticed my own that I hadn't noticed before, and I was like, wow, we have these tendrils of energy with the earth that we don't want to acknowledge. What you acknowledge grows. And then
mm,
I noticed a dog walking that, and it was being walked by its owner, right? Or it owns the guy. Anyway, so the dog and a person. And I noticed that the dog had these tendrils and the person, they were almost non-existent. Then I saw a mom pushing her baby, and I noticed the baby had the tendrils and the mom hardly did at all.
mm,
And I was
mm.
like, wow, part of the process of growing up and being a person here is to disconnect from the very nurturing that is gifted by our Mother Earth, our planet that is our home. And we call that being an adult. When you're in your head more than you are in your body, when you're less connected energetically with everything and everyone around you, when you don't need to be nurtured anymore, as though any of us doesn't need to be nurtured. And I realized in that moment, more than anything, it's a choice. And and that trees just choose it because they don't think, it's like, of course, it's like being at Uluru is like, of course, the
Mm.
earth is your home. And of course, everything here is actually set up to contribute to you if you will listen to the whispers. And and when I said that's a choice, it's it's not something we do as much cognitively as following along the energetic pathways that have been laid out by people before us rather than charting our own course to that which allows us to whisper with the earth and allow it to whisper to us and allow it to show us the way for everything we're asking for.
One of the things you said is like that solidity of the woman you were working on. And I was looking at like how we, as we grow up, we solidify ourselves into this, pull the tendrils in, like solidify ourselves. So somehow when I get here to Lugar, it's like I de-solidify part of what I
Mm.
solidified myself into. And again, maybe that's like what the vibration does. Like it
Yeah,
vibrates me out of that solidity.
that. And if you look at it, it's like one of the things that is very clear at El Lugar is everything is moving all the time.
Yeah.
There are no two of the same sunsets, sunrises. There's no two in 10 seconds, the entire landscape can change, the lighting, the movement of the animals, etc. And at Uluru, so last night I was doing, I don't know how well they turned out yet, but I was trying to do some star trail photography and some uh, Milky Way photography. And you realize with that, and if any of you have ever done photography, if you see something, capture it, because
Mhm.
it's going to change in seconds if you don't. And that vibration, that's exactly what it is. It is a moving vibration. But what we try to do is we try to stop the movement so we can create the control, so we can control the stuff that we think is going to be hurtful to us so it's not hurtful, and then control everything else into existence in the right way, in the good way, so that
Mm.
we can have what we say we desire by controlling it all into existence instead of letting anyone or anything contribute that might mean movement that is not us controlling everything.
That nearly
Yeah.
hurts, by the way.
Right? Exactly. It does.
Yeah. Wow. On the call before that you did before with your one of your programs, you said that you were hearing that now is the time to sing the songs of the future. I was wondering if you could talk about that or just show us like a download of that songs through the Symphony of Possibilities or something like that.
You had to say that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You asked.
Mm, mm.
Interesting having done all this stuff that is so beyond words for so many years. And I used to try to put words.
And then behind you, it's all
Mm.
waking up.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oof. Mm.
Wow.
Mm. Some beautiful comments about trees on YouTube. Thank you.
Mm,
Mm.
mm.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. What if we were able to create a future in which everything was nurturing to us and our bodies, and we were nurturing to everything?
And the earth. Yeah.
And the
Mm. Wow.
dear
Mm.
earth, I am your steward. We are here.
That.
Yeah.
Mm. Songs of the future. Mm.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end.
Yeah. Well, this is still going for a little bit, so mm,
And if you're watching, if you come on, just
mm,
in.
yeah.
Mm. Mm. Wow.
Wow. Mm. What if now is the time to sing the songs of future possibilities in and through everything? the time to end the fight, the time to end all fights, the time to end the need for right, time to bring into our awareness and into actualization the communion of all beings. And to ask for the earth's contribution while simultaneously gifting our contribution and being that which is beyond fathomability and understanding. Now is the time.
Wow, you made me all teary. Or that
Yeah.
vibration. Mm.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What else is
Thank you, Lugar. Thank you, Uluru and Karajuda. Oh.